Okay, go
so, Mark.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
I really want to know about images.
Using images on WordPress?
Like maybe
Like we should upload an image and show you what happens.
Yeah.
And maybe you can put it into your site.
But what if I want like different sizes?
What if you want different sizes? Maybe we'll talk about that. Yeah. Do you think everybody else wants to talk about that? You don't know?
Yeah.
You know, of course we do.
So,
Can I ask a general question?
yeah, go ahead.
About the WordPress. So they send some updates. Do I need to update?
If you're on DreamHost, right? How many of you got an email from DreamHost saying, we have upgraded your WordPress install to whatever? Okay.
I didn't get it.
DreamHost, so DreamHost is kind of annoying in that fashion where if you set up your WordPress install on DreamHost, they have, let me see if I can actually find where it is.
Hey, Mike, what size did you want our image to be again?
1024/768. So if we panel.dreamhost.com so one-click installs, maybe where it is, app manage installed applications. So this is where I believe, yeah. So on DreamHost, if you guys are using DreamHost, they have this little feature that will upgrade WordPress automatically. You can turn that off. Okay, so is that what you're asking about? It sent you an email saying
No.
we've updated.
I logged in my WordPress.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is
Do a manual install will still do it.
it'll still do this. I think. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
It did it? Yeah. So you can turn that off. Okay, so you're asking me about something completely different. What you're asking me about is if I am, hold on, if I am in here and it says updates 1, plugins 1. Here's the thing, okay? If we go to plugins and it says there is a new version of Akismet available, it depends on the plugin, okay? So it depends on the plugin and if you've done something to it. Here's the thing. At any time, WordPress says you need to update to a new version of WordPress. You need to update this plugin. There's always a risk involved. In other words, if, so I've been caught on I updated to a newer version of WordPress and something with the way that they configured something. Now, one of my plugins was outdated because I wanted to be configured a different way. I had to, the one plugin that I was using was written by a former student of mine at the time. And so what I had to do was I had to send him an email saying, hey man, can you update this thing to work with the newer version of WordPress because it wants to access the plugin a different way than your plugin, right? So there's always a risk of that. Okay, so if you know that risk and you are willing to take that risk because you're just a daredevil in your life and you do that kind of thing, or B, you've been backing your site up regularly, and if something goes wrong, you can always restore the backup from the day before. Okay, Now, yeah, Ron, it's wrong, right?
I'm just asking, if you're a developer for WordPress and you design a special plugin that's now not working anymore, is there like resource materials that you can go to find out?
There should be, yeah. In other words, there will be change logs and that kind of stuff on the codex that, yeah. I can't remember, all I know is that one plugin, the way it wanted to connect to WordPress was all of a sudden not working anymore. And so that plugin was outdated. So something like this, the Akismet plugin, it's not going to update these plugins for you, right? It'll, on DreamHost, they have it automatically updates WordPress because that's how they have it set up. This plugin is not going to automatically update. However, Akismet is one of the core plugins that WordPress uses for spam. So in this case, updating Akismet, and I don't even have it activated yet, but if I updated it, that's a pretty safe plugin to then update and return to plugins. I'm not going to activate that because that's the one that you have to actually get an API key to, et cetera, et cetera. Now, a third-party plug, so if it says buy automatic, those are partners of WordPress.
So
right?
those are pretty safe.
Pretty safe. This one, contact form 7, here's the thing. If I've edited this plugin, or if I've edited the style sheet associated with that plugin, something is at risk to break. Okay, so that's where, if we go to the Dreamweaver and we take a look at the remote server, WP content, plugins, contact form 7. I don't know if it has a style sheet associated with it, but we can do one of two things, right? If includes CSS, okay? So if your plugin then has a style sheet associated with it, we may be tempted to go ahead and edit this style sheet, which can be a good thing because it's the style sheet associated with that plugin. The downfall is if and when we update that plugin, our changes that we made in the style sheet are going to disappear or be overwritten. So if we then have a local version of that style sheet, we might have to upload that style sheet again. But different plugins work in different fashions. There's always pros and cons to doing it differently. So what I have a tendency to do is if I need to overwrite a style from the plugin, I'll put that in my main style sheet. And now when we look behind the hood of, we visit this site now and we view page source, a lot of the, let me actually go to my website here. So if I view page source here, okay, we are eventually going to use the WP head function, like I spoke about on Monday, I believe. The WP head function gets style sheets, right? So let's take a look at this one, Page Navi. So this is a plugin that has its own style sheets associated with it. So it then grabs that style sheet associated with the plugin and links to it within from the WP head function. Our style sheet that we're linking to is, or the one that I'm linking to, is up above it here. Okay, so you could do it where you update or edit that style sheet and it should overwrite anything in your style sheet, but there's then that downfall of you know, whatever. So riddle me this, everybody. If I have styles in here and I want to overwrite styles that are linked to in a style sheet that come after this, how do I do that? Does that make sense what I'm asking you guys? Okay, so if I load the style sheet after it, I'm gonna have to move this style sheet down below my WP head function. Okay, which is not really what I want to do. I've had problems with that, right? In other words, you want this one, you want this, your master style sheet, to come first. So let me see. I actually have an example of that, I think, that I just uploaded. Well, if, again, you can go and edit that style sheet, you can move your style sheet down below. I think moving your style sheet down below is not the right answer. I can't remember exactly why it's not the right answer, but I know I've done that before and had horrible results. Okay. So if I go to here, my GitHub, and I think it was in the real self one, maybe that I had to override stuff. No, maybe it was in my Premium Design Works one. I know I just did it again. I can't remember what I'm doing when. It's really true. I can't. I have a hard time remembering anything. Well, the answer is using the important attribute, this, right? So if I need to overwrite something that's in a later style sheet, if it's just one little property, like one color, I could then set up a new rule and use this. And that is, you guys know that property, that CSS, right? So if I say important here, that means important. This one takes precedence over any other one, right? In other words, if something else tries to overwrite that later in the cascade, this won't allow it to be overwritten, okay? So that's how I would take care. That's how I'm starting to take care of some of those things. Does that make sense? Okay. Now what we're supposed to be talking about today.
Is that a semicolon that's separated?
Exclamation mark important. And if you're in Dreamweaver, in other words, if we open up my normal style sheets here in my demo, if I wanted to make, maybe it was in this one that I did it. No, if I wanted to make sure that some kind of something never got overwritten, that's where I would use important, and in Dreamweaver, it'll point it out in red like that to me. Okay, so that's how to do that. Okay. So again, what we're supposed to be talking about, because I'm recording, and I've just totally, you know, gone off on a tangent while I'm recording. Okay, so due at the end of this week, I want to be able to check that you have installed and set up WordPress. I also want to be able to check that you have created your template files. Okay. When it comes to what we're doing, what we did on Monday. Okay. Again, if you can create the assignment along with us while we're doing it, great. If you want to just sit and watch what I'm doing and then go do it on your own time, hey, knock yourself out. That's just as fabulous. Okay. Again, that's a good thing about recording these lectures. Are you guys going back and watching these lectures?
Yes.
Yeah. I had mine up on my Apple TV in my living room the other night, just to like kind of let it roll, and it's kind of nice to watch it on the TV like that. Like I could just, oh, if I was a student, sure, I'll look, right? So I can see why you guys want it to be recorded. But the create your content and menu system assignment is the one that's due at the end of next week that we have been starting right now. Okay, so if I go to this one, let's see if it goes to the correct page. So after you install and set up WordPress on your own server and created a set of template files to work from, you will now need to, 1, create the pages for your site. Okay, so this is where you can create whatever pages you want to. However, I'm going to request that you do at least create a blog or a news feed page, because we're going to then tuck our news feed under that page when we make a static home page. Notice I have not made a home page just yet. Don't worry about your home page just yet. But my pages about, blog, contact, portfolio, I want one main category to have subpages so we can get our subpages rolling. Okay. Then I want you to insert written content into your pages. So if you followed along with me and you used that HTML ipsum and put it, how many of you have set up those pages and put your HTML ipsum in there? Look at that, you're halfway done with your assignment. Sweet, all right? So again, see also HTML warm ipsum. How many of you guys set up your menu system already? Wow, check that out. You're done with that assignment. Right? It's not everything that you do. Well, let's just go back through here. So for your page structure, you should at this time create a set of main level pages that include 1, an about page, 2, a blog page, a contact page, and at least one other main category page, services or portfolio page. One of these main level pages must include a set of 3 sub-level pages. All pages should include text that represents a level 1 or 2 heading. So what I mean there is, if you use the level 1 heading for your logo, how many of you do that? Nobody. Okay. I still do that on occasion. I've kind of shifted away from an H1 tag for my logo, right? So use a div tag. Okay. Because I don't think there's a logo tag yet, is there? They should have one finally. So level 1 or level 2 heading, at least 2 level 2 or 3 headings, at least 2 paragraphs per headline. So according to this lecture, you may have to go and adjust your HTML ipsum, right? Again, I want to do certain things and see how your stylists work. Remember the typography class where I made you do 2 paragraphs in a row so I could see that one paragraph had that margin bottom, etc. Right? So make sure you go back and read these requirements. One ordered list, a block quote, and a text link. Okay.
This is
so
next week.
Yes. So this is if you've basically followed along and used that HTML ipsum, you're halfway there with it. Just go back and adjust things. You will need to create your main menu system that is representative of these pages and their hierarchy. Once you've created these, link to it from your, well, how many of you have linked to your demo WordPress site from your staging area already? Good, okay. How many of you have linked to your templates? Good, etc. Yeah, you guys are following right along.
The prototype link from the site.
So again, what I mean is, if we go back to the choose your project, site assignment, and weights. So again, you should have templates. I should be able to view your templates. I should be able to go check your code so I can leave comments on your code if I find something is not correct. On your proto site, you should link to your demo prototype that you're working on right now. You have not, so here's my demo prototype that I've been working on for my demos. It's a lot farther along than we're farther along in here. Then eventually you are going to link to your code on GitHub. Let's notice that I am not linking to WordPress core and all. Only put your theme that you are going to be developing on GitHub. Don't put all of WordPress core and all on GitHub. Does that make sense? Your theme and your theme only. Mark, say it out loud.
Your theme only.
How do we do
Emily? Thank you. Okay. That's where if you're using GitHub for Mac, you just drag that folder over GitHub for Mac. If you're using GitHub for PC, you drag
The
that folder.
2015 thing? Just-
No, the theme that you're going to be developing down the road. We're not
So,
there
oh,
yet.
we're not, okay, so,
No.
okay. Sorry.
Chris,
So for an assignment turn in, we don't need to actually turn anything to you, we just need to have it posted to.
correct. So here's what I'm going to do. At timely intervals when something is due, right? So for instance, so according to the schedule, all assignments are due by or before Friday at 3 p.m. their scheduled week. So at 3:01 on Friday, 3:01, I am going to go to my list of all your names, and I'm going to go to your staging area and then check on your assignments. It's probably not going to be right at 3:01, is what I'm saying, right? Probably not at 3:05.
Probably not till.
Probably, okay, yeah. Does that make sense, Chris? Yeah, so again, in this class, I'm just going to go check up. It's a little bit different format than it has been in the past. Yeah.
For this one, we just need a link to our WordPress site. I think basically is it, right? With the themes, I guess I'm not getting, what do you want us to link to for the themes?
So when we get to actually building your theme, you're going to publish that theme on GitHub and link to the code of the theme.
Okay, that's not good.
No, but for your proto sites, you are going to link to, wherever you put this to your WordPress folder, right? And right now, it would be linking to this,
That's
right? Because we haven't created your theme yet. So what I'm gonna do to check up on that assignment is, then I'm gonna see, obviously, it's been installed correctly, right? Then I can do this. Click, 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 click. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 main pages and 3 sub pages of one. So does that make sense?
Yes.
That's how I'm going to check up on it. Okay. So back to what we should be talking about. Uploading and using images in WordPress. Okay. So the media settings. Okay. Let's just talk about media in general here in WordPress. Okay. So if and when we upload images, so today does everybody have an image to use at 1024 by 768?
Yes.
Okay. If not, you can go to your Facebook really quickly and just grab an image. Or
Any image, right? Or you want?
I don't care what it is, I mean, it could be, it could be this guy for all I care. Right? Little sad polar bear. So, I mean, if you wanted to go and, grab little, grumpy cat for all I care. It could be grumpy cat, doesn't matter to me. But one way, shape, or form, when we upload an image into the WordPress environment, we will notice that under media settings, so if we go to, let me close some of my, right? So if we go to our dashboard and we go under settings, media, you will notice this. Image sizes, thumbnail size, 150 by 150, medium size, 300 by 300, large size, max width, 1024, 1024, okay? So what happens is when we upload an image to WordPress, it stores the original sized image, and then by default, it'll make 3 different sizes, okay? So we can use those 3 different sizes in various places. So right now, these dimensions, 150 by 150, 300, etc., are the dimensions that are put into the theme that you're using right now. Okay? If and when you then are going to be, let's say it like this. How many of you are going to be using the 960 grid system for your templates in your prototype, right? Okay, so if you're going to be doing that, what might be some sizes for the 960 grid system?
Uh, 10.
See how I'm just wasting
10,
time.
24, and 600.
So let's do this. Let's
Or,
go
I'm
to
sorry,
my,
excuse me,
let's go here, 960 GS. GS. Okay. So if we go here to the 960 GS, here's what we may do. If I have a copy column that is 620 pixels wide, this may become my large size image. If I want a medium-sized image that is half of 620, according to the grid structure, I may do 300 as a medium-sized image. If I want a thumbnail image to then just go over 2 columns, right, because it's a thumbnail that might be used as an excerpt, I might then do 140. So let me show you how that looks like in play. So first and foremost, if I have logged into my dashboard here under my Premium DesignWorks one, and I say media, here are my media settings. Thumbnail size, 220, height 160. Now we have an option here to crop the thumbnail to exact dimensions. Normally thumbnails are proportional, whatever. Medium size, max width 300, max height 0. This means that, so here's, if I said max height 300, if I had an image that was 300 wide and 600 tall, it's going to crop it to 300 tall and then 150 wide. So what I've started doing is, on my medium and my large size, I've just started saying what my max width is and my height set to 0. In other words, height doesn't matter. It doesn't crop it in ratio to height at all. It just uses, does that make sense, Dory? It just uses the width. Okay. So large size, 800, 0. So notice I went bigger than my 620 here. Okay. That's because on my Premium DesignWorks site, let me show you how those work. 220 by 160 is my thumbnail. Here is my thumbnail sized image. Okay. If we click on this and go to then here, all of these are using the large size image. Okay. I've set my large size image to being 800 because if and when it comes to being responsive, what I've done is at 800 is my breakpoint for it collapsing down to 1 column. So I wanted to make sure that my large size image had enough pixel density that it would be 800 and below. Does that make sense? Okay. My medium size image then I believe is this. So again, WordPress actually makes 3 different images to be used. In other words, if we uploaded a 1024 by 768, right? And here's why I upload 1024 by 768. So right now in my school theme, this image right here is 655 wide. But when any one of you click on it, it uses then the original 1024 by 768 file, right? So there are 4 different files in play for 4 different scenarios of use. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, because if we took our 1024 by 768 and did something like this, where we just wanted to then take our 1024 768 photo and make it like 40%, right? Our load time is going to be really, really sluggish. Has anybody ever experienced doing something like that? Yeah, yeah. So that's why WordPress then makes those different file formats. You can also then, let's say, so here on this blog, right, I'm then using the featured image to then be a thumbnail sized image. Here is the large size image. We're not really using a medium size image, but what we are doing on this one then is using an extra large size image. Okay, so how do we do that? You can, and this was new to me this quarter. So again, if you're not learning something on every single project you're doing, Mark, you're doing something wrong, right? So one thing that we need to do to use those thumbnails like that, in other words, be able to, let's say like this. If I go open functions and open index, right? We can call an image to be used just via code. Okay, so what we can do here is, and this is kind of what I was saying, Mark, that you might do, is right here. And here's the one thing that I learned by watching my video of me teaching on my Apple TV. What I did, seriously, again, I was learning something. It's like a sponge. It's a sponge, right? What I noticed was I'd start talking about something and I'd point to it here.
Yeah.
And so as I'm watching the video, I'm like, the fuck am I pointing at? So see what I just did right here?
Yeah.
I totally highlighted what I'm trying to point at, and I'm pointing at it. So when I watch it back on my Apple TV, and I'm up here talking about get post thumbnail. So in other words, here's what you might be doing, Mark, down the road, right? Using the get post thumbnail function to say whatever page ID, large feed, right? So this is where I'm saying I made another custom size, large feed. Down here in the secondary loop, or the second loop, which will show you guys how to do the second loop. Again, here I go highlighting it. Oh. Okay. This is where I'm saying get the post thumbnail size medium. Okay. Because this right here is we're not using, remember when I said we're going to be using the content function to get things out of the rich text editor? That is going to display images that we put into the rich text editor. But what if we want to access an image just by using code, right? We are then going to have to use the get the post thumbnail function to do that, okay? So we would then, in our functions file, have to turn that on and say add theme support post thumbnails. So we can, this is kind of screwy, right? But there's still legacy stuff like this that you have to put in your functions file to say, hey, turn this bit of functionality on so we can use it, okay? Here is then in my functions file as well, these right here, create custom image sizes. So this is where I said, add image size extra large, make it 1,000 pixels wide, add image size large feed, 700 pixels wide, 400 pixels tall, right? So again, WordPress then makes the original size or uses the original sized image, makes by default thumbnail, medium, and large. And then I said, go 2 further and make an extra large and then a large feed for that website. So here's what actually happens, right? So let's notice that there are 3 default image sizes associated with WordPress: thumbnail, medium, and large. Okay, thumbnail typically the size I use for my blog feed. Medium typically the size I want when I want to have the text wrap around it. And large typically the size of the image that I want to be the length of the content copy. So if I click on thumbnail here, there is the actual thumbnail sized image. Now it's opening up here on my page with a light box, but if I opened this in a new tab, here's the actual image, right? So what WordPress has done is it's taken my original 1024/768 image and made a new file out of it that it has stored in the WP content folder, in the uploads folder, in a 215/04, and it's taken my file, graduation.jpg, and made it into graduation 140 by 140 for use. Okay, same thing for medium. Open link in new tab. Here is then graduation 300 225. Okay. Large 620 465. Okay. So again, if you are working or if you're wondering why I chose the sizes I did, you can see these sizes in action according to the 960 grid system. So that's why I chose some of the things that I did. Okay. Now, when we upload a file, then come on, it gets stored in this folder right here. Let's highlight that folder. Okay, so it's being stored in my uploads folder. You can see in the uploads folder, it generates a 2015 folder, and then it also generates folders by month. And here's the original graduation JPEG. Then the other sizes, 140, 140, 300 by 225, 620, 465. Now, what happens if we upload a bunch of images like this, and we've been uploading those size images, or we've been making those size images for years now, and then all of a sudden we make a new theme and we need new sizes to use? What happens? WordPress, the correct answer is WordPress will still access the old sizes. Wah, wah. How do we fix that? So as a side note, who said it? Regenerate thumbnails. There is a plugin.
Should we download that now?
Not right now, no. Okay. So if I go to my business theme, over the years, I've adjusted my theme to a certain extent that I needed to make new file sizes. So if and when I did that, if I go under my dashboard and I go to plugins, you will see a plugin called Regenerate Thumbnails. I'm not going to activate it right now because I'm only going to activate it when I need to regenerate thumbnails. But basically what that plugin will do is it will then go, and so if you create a new theme, right, you are then going to need to tell WordPress to make these sized images. So when you start working with your theme, right, you are going to have to go and tell WordPress then under settings, media, you are going to have to go and adjust these to according to how you want it to present your theme. Let's say you mess up, or let's say you adjust it down the road, right? Then you can regenerate thumbnails, and that plugin will go and grab the original sized image and make new versions of thumbnail, medium, and large for you to use. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Uploading images. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my download. So I'm going to save this to my desktop. If you want to use this image, go ahead. Graduation, JPEG, desktop, save. If I viewed this in a new tab, here is the original sized image, right? So graduation.jpg, 1024, 768. Let's upload a photo and place it into your page. So this is where my, what I'm trying to get you guys to do is put a photo of you doing something like graduating from the UW on your About page, right? That's a nice photo to have on your About page. Or at least, you know, me, it's pretty sweet. Do whatever photo you want. It does not matter, okay? So here I am under my demo. So I can do one of two things, okay? I can go and upload this to the media library. Or if I am on my About page, I can upload it from here. Jeff, what should we do? Upload it from the page or go to the media library? How about we do both, right? Okay. So let's do it here from the page. So everybody go to your About page. See this Add Media button? This is where rocket science comes into play. Look for the Add Media button.
Drop it anywhere.
Okay. When this comes up, okay, this is where then you can choose to upload files. So you can use files from two different places. You can upload files and then it'll go into your media library. Or you can use an existing file from your media library, which I don't have any items in there. Or I can insert from URL. Okay? So if you want to hot link a photo from another website, that person will be probably angry at you for taking up their processing power. So what's my point?
Don't do that.
Don't ever hot link an image from one of my sites, ever. Raise your hand. I won't ever hot link an image from one of your sites, Mike.
From one of your sites.
You swore, Victoria. You swore. I saw that. I have it on audio. Okay? I have it on audio that my class did that. Okay? But if you want to do that from a URL, you certainly can. Just know that people don't like when you hot link their images.
Can they tell where that's coming from?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They can.
So they can reach out to you and say, hey.
Hey.
Yes. I've had it where somebody copied and pasted one of my, you remember my information on my creating wireframe tutorial? Somebody copied and pasted that tutorial and put it on their own blog. And so what happened was they copied the source file. So this is an interesting story. Okay, so what ended up happening is all the images were actually pulling the images from my website.
Oh my.
Right? So what I went and did was I opened up those source images and put very inappropriate graphics into those files, so that basically this guy had a tutorial on his website that was one nice screenshot after the next and then porn, and then one screenshot after the next and then porn, right?
Oh man, that's
So
awesome.
don't hot link my images because you will have porn on your website.
Oh my God.
What?
Make a picture that says-
What?
What are you doing with porn?
Putting it on your website. What am I doing with it? I just accessed it to put it on his website. I don't have it. I don't have any.
Right, uh-huh.
See, what you should have done is not linked it.
But I couldn't because he already had the code. We're getting way into this conversation more than we need to.
But that's pretty funny.
Okay, back to me. All right. So what we can do here then is from the About page, let's just go add media. We can say insert media, upload files, select files. Okay. So this is where then I'm going to find graduation.jpg, right? I'm going to say open. And here's the thing that you're going to want to do. Okay. For search engine purposes, do not ignore these fields. Title, caption, alt text, description. Okay. We'll get into where we use these in a little bit, but if you want to see where those are being used on my business sites, the search engine optimization, well, why don't I just show it to you, right? For search engine optimization, we want to pull titles, alt values for images, etc. We also may want to use the caption and description in certain places, right? So here, this is pulling the caption I put in there, all right? Here in my portfolio section, if I go to logos and we view this, this is actually an image that I am linking to the attachment page. And the attachment page is pulling the description field. Okay, so we can use all those fields different ways for different purposes. Okay, so when you are uploading a photo, take the time to do this. Put search engine appropriate, keyword dense, whatever you want to say, title. Your caption can be different. Your alt text can be different. Your description can be different. But for the time being, I'm just going to make all four of them the same. Okay. Now that because I have chosen to upload this file then to this page, it is going to assume that I want to display this image. Okay? So this is where alignment, I'm going to say none right now, but if I say alignment left, center, or right, here's where that pulls from. So this is a side note, but it's a very, very important side note for you guys. When in my templates, if I view code in my templates and I go to styles, this won't be important until you put it into your theme, but some of you may have seen, did I put it in? No, I didn't put it in there. Maybe it's under my theme. I think I have it when we're doing our theme development. Do I not have it? Do I not have it? I should have it. I'm wasting my own time here. Little widgets, content. I don't have it in there. Huh. So. Well, I'll have to go look for it. One way, shape, or form. This alignment right here will access in your style sheets. Oh, I know where I can find it. When I was looking through this earlier, I don't know if anybody noticed where it said WordPress core.
Can you control?
There it is. Here it is. Okay. So I have this in a lecture down the road. So begin WordPress core. There are styles that you are going to want to put into your style sheet, like align none. You can do whatever you want to. Align center, align right, align left, etc. Okay. You look confused, but let me show you what happens. When I say align left, center, right, or none, if I say align left, it's going to go access, or it's going to write a style into the image class, align left, right? So therefore, it's going to go and rely on whatever I said for align left. Float left, margin, top, right, bottom, left, okay? So when I know I have this in the lecture down the road of always make sure that you put these WordPress core styles in your style sheet.
So if you didn't have those,
It wouldn't align left, no, because when I do that, when I put something into, let me show you. Let's upload this. Great.
So
This right here?
Yeah.
Yes, because this is accessing WordPress whatever to display this, but how your theme is using that is, let me show you, okay?
So are you
So-
saying like, so you have your theme set up and you want certain images on your left side, you want them maybe to align to the right of that.
Let me show you
Okay.
here, okay? So if I insert this to my page now, right? It has just inserted this
Wherever.
at the top of my page. I chose large, align none. So if I update then, and I viewed page, it is large, align none at the top of my page, okay? So let's say now I wanted to put let's just say this. Let's go back to edit this page, and let's say that I had a couple of different paragraphs like this, right? And I wanted to then take this image and put it here at this paragraph, say medium, float left, and have this text wrap around it, right? I would go back to the add media, okay? Now, right now, it's saying accessing my media library, and because I've uploaded this, it's stored it in my media library, right? I could then filter and say only uploaded to this page, okay? If I chose this then, it chooses the HCD graduation one, and again, if I said here alignment left, size, medium, I could also choose if I wanted to link this to an attachment page, the media file, or custom URL, or none. So how many of you have clicked on some of my photos in my lectures and it opens up in a lightbox? That I'm saying media file, and I'm using a lightbox to open up the media file in the lightbox. How many of you have ever clicked on one of my screenshots and it's taken you to an external page, like code or something? That is me saying custom URL, entering that custom URL. On my business site, that's where these right here link to an attachment page, which this is the attachment page. In other words, it uses the page template to display the media file. Okay? So if I'm here, I'm going to now say alignment left, link to media file. I'm going to leave it, that file, medium. So if I insert this into page, it doesn't look like it's really floated anything left here, but let's see when I update it and view the page. Okay, if I do that, now I should have a photo that is now aligned left with a caption, right, or floated left. So here's how that works. If I now look at inspect elements, right, that image then, oh, look at that. Image, medium, where is it? There it is. Okay. Oh, look at that. They're now using the figure instead of div. So here is where, because, yeah, figure and figure caption is now the new way of doing, instead of div and then a caption, right? So here is the figure caption tag, here is the figure tag.
So we don't write div ID anymore?
Well, it's HTML5, okay? So here is where then, because I inserted this image and chose to align it left, it is saying class WP caption, because I assigned a caption to it. It is then floating it left using align left. So in my theme then, however I want align left to work is however I want it to work, right? So in other words, if I chose that all my photos that I inserted as medium size, I wanted to align left and have a pink border around them, right, as the style, I could then say align left has a pink border around it if I chose. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah.
A reason that you use the the rich text instead of going in and just doing all of your HTML within the post box?
Meaning?
When you're writing a post, it automatically puts a P tag around all of your whatever you write.
Uh-huh. You mean instead of going in here and doing it this way?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, because then you can put like H1 and this stuff, like.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't want to compare this to Raven, but I sent you a file. It is test drive for CSS. You put that in there, and it shows you every single possible situation you could have, like list items, to style it. You know. Yeah. So that your customer can.
I guess what I'm saying is I always do it this way.
Oh, you do it in the text. You don't do it in the visual.
Well, I do a few different things a few different ways. If I have, in other words, if I am writing this tutorial right here, right? And it has a featured image and then a whole lot of other images. as I'm writing this tutorial, I am actually going and inserting images in the text edit at those various points. I've always done that. It's always worked for me. I don't see any reason to change. Okay? Then I can go here and say I can delete it, or I can also hit the edit button and go to image details and change the caption, change the alt text. I can change it to left, center, right, none, large, link to a media file, etc. So I like that functionality for that case. Now, that being said, notice at the top, well, let's go back and look at the styles applied to that. If you notice, each one of these images here has a gray border, and when you roll over it, then it does this, right, in a light box. So they all have their similar style. That being said, look at the top one. It's got no border. It links to a completely different place, okay? So that's where, if we look at this real self one, that's where on these postings, you'll notice that I have featured image, and then I have image, then I have image, okay? So what I'm doing is I typically break my postings into the image at the top is my featured special image that I am using if I can find the.
It was more of like a,
There it is.
when it's not your own like portfolio, it was someone like a client that could possibly do something to make it look wonky. You know what I mean?
Oh, clients are going to fuck things up.
Right.
You just have to get over that.
And you're,
If that's your
you're
question,
not, like,
if that's your question, you just have to drink more, Rose Jane.
I don't know if that's possible.
Have you seen the Jet City Improv website?
Yeah, with the footer.
Look at the contact page on the Jet City Improv website now.
Oh, let's look at it.
No. So what I'm saying is, okay, back to me, everybody. So what I'm saying is, this image here at the top is being pulled in a separate way, okay? This is where then the image at the top is actually being pulled in via my templates. So if we go to repositories, Premium Design Works, single, where is it? Post, title, am I on the right one? There it is. Get featured image with link. Okay. So that image up at the top, then, I wrote my own function to, so it's the way I've styled it, so that every page then, we go to functions, get featured image with link here, okay? That's where I'm writing my own way of doing it, so that every time I make a posting, it is then going to access what I, right here, designate as the featured image. Okay, just for that first one, but then, so if you're talking about client stuff, right, that's the same way that I've done this, where that featured image then gets put large up at the top of the page. That featured image also gets used as the thumbnail using code. But the rest of the images, these get populated inside the rich text editor. Okay. Again, 6 to 1, half a dozen the other. It's all the way you set it up and give directions to your clients. But your clients are going to take your directions and lose them, burn them, flush them down the toilet, and do whatever they want to do. and you're just going to have to drink more. That's really the only answer, right?
Your attempt at, your approach to UX is more code-based than other versions.
No, not necessarily.
Well, I mean, I think with the, like, you know, writing functions and things like that, I mean, you're making sure it's going to be a certain way.
All I'm saying is, Darwin, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can. Sorry, Darwin, grant me the evolutionness to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the evolution to know the difference. That's all I'm saying, okay? Okay, so back to, yeah, so here is where then we put then that image and put it in there. Yeah.
So with those classes that you have in your style sheet, right now we're playing with their 2015
Right.
styles.
They
can make their own style sheet. So is there like a starting point MC style sheet that we'll start with, or are we?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So what I'm referencing is, let me show you exactly what I'm referencing. In the later lecture of creating your theme from a template. Step 1, blah, 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 index styles. WordPress generated classes. So make sure that you have these WordPress generated classes then in your style sheet. And that's what I'm referencing in terms of.
Is that all? No, aren't there like?
Well, there's going to be the current this, current that, right? And other things that you are going to integrate. In other words,
where do we get those from? Do we write them, or do we download them somewhere when you say WordPress generated classes?
well, that's where here, this link right here on the assignment lecture takes you to, on the codex, on the WordPress codex.
And then you just grab
those, yes.
Or try
Yes.
to type it.
So things like, let's say I'm here on the blog, right? And if I inspect that element, it then has a lot of the, on that list item, you see how it has current page parent, menu item has da 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 da. I don't necessarily need to use those. But what I'm going to do is, as I'm developing a theme and I want to add features into that theme, right? Because when I say current page parent or that kind of stuff, if we see how that then gets integrated, right? So then I'm saying main menu list item dot current page item. So basically, I would look at how what the HTML that WordPress outputs, look at the classes, and use those classes how I saw fit. But that one, the WordPress core, is basically your starter. Don't forget to put these in there, kind of thing, right? Where that's where I've just copied and pasted those into my style sheet, and that's where in the lecture then down the road where we are going to be doing our style sheet, that's where I'm saying it's also a good idea if I use the WordPress core generated classes as well. So that'll be part of that lecture. So when we get to that part of that lecture, I'm going to say, remember, Mark, when we talked about, and you're going to say, I remember that, Mike, that was so fun, right? Okay. So going back to what we should be talking about, because we've been straying a lot in this lecture, but straying importantly, I think. Hopefully you guys are getting a big picture of all this stuff, you know what I mean? So basically what we've done then is we have uploaded an image to a page and then pulled it and inserted it into our page or posting, okay? So once we do that, then it allows you to, in other words, if I close some of these tabs, because
How do we get rid of images if we like accidentally enter too many times?
so if we go to the media library here, so take a look up on the screen. So the media library, well, let me ask you like this. You mean insert too many into this posting?
Into my about page. So I have a big one, a medium one, and a big one on my about page. Oh, okay.
So this is where if I hover over this, I can realign it, I can edit it, I can remove it if I wanted to.
Oh,
So bye-bye,
sweet.
gone, okay?
That's easy.
Media library, confirm, stay on this page, I should update it.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
So if I go to the media library then, this is where I will have this photo now in my media library. And I can change its title, caption, alt text, description. It'll also tell me that this has been uploaded to my about page, right? So it'll say what page it is attached to. The page it is attached to will become important down the road when we pull images that are attached to a certain page, right? And use them. Does that make sense? Okay. So edit more details. I can also, whoops, sorry, wrong one. There is one more screen in here. If I say edit image, right? I can, if I want to, re-rotate some of this stuff.
Oh.
Okay. I wouldn't really use that stuff, but you know, okay. But that's pretty much using images so far. We will get to, like I said, what we're going to do down the road is, and this is where you are going to fit what I want you to fit, the square peg into the round hole of your theme. We are down the road going to pull a featured image. We're going to basically make images, featured images for postings, and then pull the title, the date, the image, etc. And in other words, how I've done this as a blog feed functionality, I'm going to show you guys that in terms of using images. And that's where we will have to do the oops. Go back to the real self trends one. That's where we will need to do this create post thumbnail support, etc. Okay, so any questions? That's going to conclude our lecture for today. And like I said, we've got about 45 minutes or so for, hey, Mike, come here, help me with this kind of thing, right? Yeah. So I'm going to now turn off, stop broadcast. Bye-bye, everybody. So everybody say goodbye.
Bye.